Traditions mean a lot in Maine towns and cities, and few traditions are as strong as the Maine Lobster Festival in Rockland. This will be its 78th year, and the whole big event happens because of many volunteers. So some people who have been part of the festival for years are now looking for some help to celebrate the volunteers permanently. 207's Don Kerrigan found the story on a side street in Rockland.
My clay is actually, I've used the same clay for over 40 years.
After 50 years of doing this, Richard Johnson knows his way around a potter's wheel.
I used to teach school. I used to do this blindfolded for the kids.
Bowls and mugs seem to form like magic in his fingers. But Richard has another way to transform clay that takes much longer.
But there are Maine potters.
He is a potter, but also a sculptor.
I fired this to 2,300 degrees in my kiln. I have a kiln inside.
Yeah. And for years, his favorite sculptures were mermaids, sculpted in public at the Maine Lobster Festival, and then brought home to be displayed in Richard's front yard.
To the Lobster Festival one day.
Celia Knight is president of the Lobster Festival, where her mother was a leading volunteer for decades.
It was always a dream of my mother to make the mermaids. She loved the mermaids.
But at the Lobster Festival, mermaids always travel with, yes, King Neptune, the ceremonial leader of the show for more than 70 years. So Richard decided the festival also needed a Neptune statue.
Mermaids for 10 years, yeah, every year. But once I had the idea, I started looking at all sculptures of Neptune. And I started thinking, well, how do I want to depict Neptune for the festival and a lobster? And to me, it was more like he's offering a lobster.
So there's no mistaking your house in this neighborhood.
I know. And people stop all the time and to see him.
It's fantastic.
And this is it. This statue, Neptune brought to life at the festival in 2022. It's made mostly of clay from his kiln.
All of that on there are actually barnacles.
Is what?
Barnacles.
Oh,
real barnacles.
Real barnacles.
Yeah. And I actually glued them on one at a time.
Neptune with the trident and, of course, the lobster made a big splash at the festival.
I mean, and then when she passed away was the first year that Neptune was at the Lobster Festival. You know, This Neptune. Yeah. And he immediately said, I'd love to dedicate that in memory of your mother, Alice Knight.
They ultimately decided to dedicate it to Alice Knight and all of the volunteers at the festival.
I took just these two to the festival in 2023.
Richard added mermaids to join Neptune, and in the winter moved the whole display to the nearby Landings restaurant on the water. Until the massive storm of January 2024.
And when we had the storm surge that came and it flooded, it lifted their dock up and it washed all of this underneath it. And it was all in pieces and even cement blocks and everything. And
he glued the pieces all back together, but decided Neptune needed something better. Neptune, says Richard, needed to be bronze.
Right. The goal would be to do all three, but I think one at a time, Neptune would be the most logical.
And it's already started. At New England Castings in Standish, they are creating King Neptune in pieces, in bronze, as Richard is able to raise the money.
And right now, we've cast the head, we have the hand with the lobster.
It's taken more than $12,000 in donations so far, and will take a similar amount to get Neptune completed. And then there are the mermaids. The three figures, he says, belong together.
Do I like the Neptune? Yeah. Oh, I love it, yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, I can't wait to see it. It's so exciting.
All right.
They all want the finished statue to go right here in Rockland's Buoy Park, where Richard and wife Susan have shown pottery and sculpted mermaids in the arts and crafts tent at the festival for years. A permanent tribute to the festival and all the people who volunteer to make it happen.
I think that it's important to any volunteer. I think even if you only volunteer one time, 1 4-hour shift, if you ever come back to Rockland, Maine, you can go down to the Lobster Festival grounds and you're going to see a thing that is dedicated to all the volunteers.
a Neptune in bronze, waiting to welcome future generations that will shrug off the storms and last as long as the city.
Piece by piece, it's coming together. So to raise more of the money, they're holding a big cornhole tournament on June 8th at Rockland's American Legion Hall. There will be a lot going on, and you can find details and reserve a spot on the Facebook page Neptune Returns. And Richard, the sculptor, is also a musician and is about to release a CD of his songs, also titled Neptune Returns. Info about that is also on the Facebook page, and it will help raise money for the project as well.